Arola, and I am very excited for the end of this week. I'm sure that you all are as well. Big plans for this weekend. Can't wait to get to that. But the cool thing about Friday is that while it does come at the end of a week, and these weeks are something lately, we have a couple of awesome things on Fridays. First of all, we do have bread earlers. That's going to be mostly fun. We get to throw out some garbage, and I've got some garbage for you today, that's for sure. And I actually have to do a little bit of production for that. And also, I am going to be doing the Young Turks later on today, I believe with Cenk Uygur, who I've talked to about 3 times on air during this pandemic, so that's always a fun event when it happens. And so all of that is coming up, should be awesome. We got a lot planned for the show. We got quite a bit here as well, including the title story, which was sent to me by a viewer. It's something I had missed from a few days ago, but it's just too fun. So we're going to take a look at how Donald Trump is managing his new life as a private citizen. Let's see what's going on. Oh, yes, and I do have to give you an update on what happened yesterday. Ryan says, if we passed a spending package to cover costs and legal help to fix the roughly 10% of the voters' issues with IDs, this would mitigate much of the oppressive voter ID laws being passed. Do you agree? Sure. I mean, look, I think it's a good idea. Atlanta, like we talked about yesterday, is doing some stuff to make sure that process is as simple as possible. I would rather challenge it. Like, I worry that passing legislation that seems to acknowledge the legitimacy of forcing these totally needless obstacles, I don't like it. I would rather just pass the bill making it so you can't require voter ID. I would prefer that. But thank you for the super chat. And John T. Fellow says, John, did you get your shot yesterday? No, I didn't even get to go because the place that I had heard about, apparently a lot of people heard about it. And so a lot of people went to it, and so they put out messages saying you can't just come and get your thing. And there are some places where maybe I could over the weekend, but I've got some big plans, so I can't do that this weekend. So I'm still hoping that next week I can at least get an appointment. You know, it's only supposed to be, I think, like 5 more days until in California we're supposed to be able to go online and get them anyway. So it's probably not worth, making any tricky-pizzicky moves. I'll just wait and actually do it. By the way, thank you to everybody who's already here. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. That would be awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining us as always. The Dayman says, good day to you, sir. That is all. Good day to you, Dayman. When do you plan to fix that light behind you? It has been flickering for months. Is it flickering right now? No, I think we're good. I turned it off. That's my way of fixing it. I can't fix it. I know that people always say that I should. I don't know how the hell I'm supposed to get up there, nor do I have the bulbs. So, no, I can't actually fix it. But, okay, so let's talk about what's going on. I did see one comment about this already, so why don't we start off with Amazon? So we've been talking about the unionization vote at the Bessemer location for a couple of weeks now. And, well, look, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to keep it real. It's not looking amazing. It's not looking amazing for a number of reasons. And while we do have to acknowledge that it's not looking amazing, we do also get to talk about some of the things that might be influencing the fact that, at least as of right now, the vote is going heavily against unionization. I believe it's still ongoing throughout today. I don't know why it's going as slow as it is. And understand that even once the vote is done, they're going to be appealing it to the National Labor Relations Board. So all of that is true. That said, there was a lot of malfeasance going on, I will say. The RWDSU spokesperson says that they placed a mailbox, basically, on the grounds of the warehouse. And workers that were interviewed about this said that the idea that we're being pressured to use this mailbox at our workplace where they can watch what we're doing, I get it. It's theoretically convenient, but I would also be worried about that. Look, we need to identify all this stuff, and I'm sure that they're going to. The union, or the group that's working towards unionization, is going to be adapting based on this and then going forward with that, and other locations too. And they say, and they're right, that even having the vote when it's Amazon is a huge thing. That said, do we know for sure that all of the different ridiculous stuff that was done with traffic lights and all the pressure and John Oliver had a good segment, by the way, breaking down some of the pressure tactics on Last Week Tonight this week. If you'd gotten rid of all of that, would that have been enough that you wouldn't, that the vote would have gone the other way? I don't know. As of right now, it looks like the vote is very much against unionization. Pressure is, I mean, that could have been it. Like, scaring them, making them think that in theory the location might get shut down or that they might fire people. That is effective. The thing is, all of this exists in the context that the American union movement, both established unions and the prospect of new ones, is facing and has faced for decades and decades a 1-2 punch of threats if you unionize, and also attempts to make people question the either legitimacy or how useful unions are. And so by the time an employee gets to the ballot box, they've lived their entire life in a country that tells them it's not worth it, that these organizations are corrupt, more corrupt than Amazon, that they won't actually improve your quality of life, as if Amazon is dedicated to doing that. So, look, it is very frustrating. And I would say that while, look, we focus on these individual battles, I think rightfully so. We give credit to the people who try to make it more likely to work, and there were some politicians this time around that did that. Things like the PRO Act and stuff like that might theoretically provide an easier path to unionization broadly is great. We also have to continue to engage in the rhetorical art, the battle to persuade people of the benefits of unionization and how the de-unionization of America has gone hand in hand with the disconnect between productivity and increases in wages, the just skyrocketing inequity that we've experienced for more than a half century. People need to understand this. There's a lot of issues where progressives, like whether we get the policy we want or not, we always get to feel good about the fact that people do support our policies. It's frustrating when we don't actually get it. But like we know that on a lot of these topics we've sort of won. For instance, Virginia's legalized recreational marijuana. 16th state, first in the South. It's becoming almost routine. Let's just get it over with and get it done. But look, we've won on that. We haven't won on everything, though. If we believe that these policies and organizations would improve people's lives, that they are, a worthwhile modification of American politics, then we need to continue to argue for that. It's one of the things that we do, hopefully, with shows like this, the dialogue that you and I have, is to get people involved in that and cause them to question some of the things that they might have just absorbed. Like, people growing up hear stuff about unions. They're not even necessarily working then. Like, it's very context free. We need to recontextualize the things that they might have been told by people they trusted that didn't necessarily know much more about it growing up. So anyway, we'll continue to give you updates, but so far it's not looking good, at least in Bessemer. Moo Dragon's Nightmare says, Moo Morning. It's my girl's 22nd birthday today. Her nickname for me is Moo, hence Moo Dragon. Can you wish her a happy birthday? Thank you. Happy birthday, daughter of Moo Dragon. Zane says, use a ladder and Amazon for bulbs. First of all, we are literally just talking about Amazon right now. So I'm not going to say that I haven't ordered a lot of stuff off of Amazon in the past. Obviously I have, but no, I'm not getting on a ladder that tall. That's crazy. Do you see how high that is? These are not regular ceilings in here. This is vaulted. I'm not getting up there. I don't like going on little ladders. Zane, if you want to come do it, you can. Greg Jones, welcome to Tier 2 YouTube membership. Thank you for being a part of what we're trying to do here. And with the Tier 2, you get access to not only all the emojis, but also our weekly top 10 lists, including this Monday's, which feels like a year ago, top 10 foods for Francesca Fiorentini and I that most contributed to pandemic weight gain. So that's a fun one. Tiger Katsuni says, I got post-blocked on Facebook this morning for sharing a post about Matt Gaetz being guilty of child sex trafficking. It was the first post I made of the morning. Facebook is defending him. Well, I don't know what was in the post. We can't say that he's guilty of child sex trafficking. Well, I mean, whether you should be able to say that on Facebook, we can have a conversation about that, but they largely get to decide. We get to say that the evidence, for instance, looks really bad for him. I could give you some updates. For instance, Adam Kinzinger, a Republican, but a Republican that is very much to the side of the Republican Party, thanks to some of the stances he's taken, has called for Matt Gaetz to resign, the first sitting Republican to do so. So that's significant. Also, another aide of Matt Gaetz has quit. has resigned. This is Devin Murphy, resigned as Mr. Gates' legislative director on Friday, which, look, I don't work on Capitol Hill, but that seems important. He told associates that he was interested in writing bills, not working at TMZ, equating the work that Mr. Gates' aides were now handling to the tabloid publication. I will say this, though. If your message is that you want to work on legislation, not work at TMZ, what the fuck were you working with Matt Gaetz for? Like, I'm glad that you're abandoning him. You know, it makes him look bad, so that's fun for me. Matt Gaetz is just, he is TMZ. He goes on Fox News and he says stuff. That's it. There's, what legislation? The connection between Matt Gaetz and legislation that most people are familiar with is when he singularly stands against overwhelmingly popular common sense legislation having to do with things like, oh, I don't know, sex trafficking and revenge porn. What a weird thing to take a stance on. But sure, everybody should abandon him. Makes him look bad, makes him question himself. Good, I like it. Stephen Warren says, good morning, Dragon Daddy. Just got my J&J shot yesterday. I'm feeling a bit sore, but overall pretty good. Thank you for getting us through the past year and keep on doing what you're doing. P.S. Can I be fabled, Dragon? You can. I don't know if that's a reference to the video games. When was the last time they made one of those? I remember thinking they seemed so interesting. I wonder if they'll ever do another one. Really fast aside, I apologize for this. What games is everyone playing recently? My friend is trying to get me into Albion Online because we're waiting for Valheim to have updates. How they haven't added more to it after the crazy amount of money they've gotten, I don't understand. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm mostly playing the new expansion to Binding of Isaac. I love that game. I wish it was more popular. I just want to talk to people about how great Binding of Isaac is. Anyway. Okay, Wayne Sugahara, thank you for the big super chat, Wayne. I really do appreciate that. Wayne says, John, a little sad for your shop, but you have a great attitude about it, so your karma will prevail. BTW, I work graveyard shifts as a therapist, so I really look forward to hearing your POV to keep me sane. Thanks so much. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you pretty much every day. I love our little community. Thank you. Yes, I am trying to keep a good attitude. The most important thing for me is my wife did get her vaccine on Monday of this week. I am very safe. I'm very careful. So in the short term, I don't know that me getting the vaccine really matters. I mean, I'm going to as soon as I can. But a lot of the people that I know have gotten vaccinated. So I'm moving tomorrow, actually. And I have a friend who's going to be coming to help me, and he's been vaccinated for like a month now at this point. My wife's vaccinated. I feel like Bart's vaccinated. Edwin, who came in yesterday, he's vaccinated. So I'm going to be one of the last ones, and I can wait. I can wait a week. Thank you for the message. I do appreciate that. Christopher says, John, happy Friday. Did you hear that they're coming out with a D&D version of the Fallout series? So you mean like a tabletop RPG of Fallout? I think I have heard that. I find it interesting enough. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at it. And I don't know, is it based on the same system as D&D, which is good and bad? I know that there are good post-apocalyptic RPGs already. Mutiny Year Zero, I've heard good things about. I am playing in a D&D campaign. I would like to Dungeon Master something again in the future, but if I did so, it probably wouldn't be D&D. So that's one of the things people often are like, you should play D&D with Anna and JR, that'd be awesome. And I think, yeah, I would like to do that, but I probably wouldn't want to do D&D. I find D&D to be, it's interesting. It's good for what it is, but I would like to play something like Call of Cthulhu or the Alien RPG, or maybe something Fallout-ish, or I don't know, something with time travel. I don't know, I just would want to do something different. Mothership. I don't know, there's other RPGs that I'd probably prefer to play. I am hearing some breaking news that DMX has passed away. That is obviously unfortunate. I can't say that in the past, 10, 15 years, I've been very familiar with what DMX has been up to, or the health problems, obviously. But, growing up, I really did like DMX's music. And I'm sure for family and friends, this is devastating. Sorry to hear that. Janet says, John, I tweeted you a couple interesting news articles to your Twitter. I hope you touch on them on the main show. Thank you, Janet. I will have to check that. And I have not seen the Space Jam trailer. Jeffrey says, Tomb of Annihilation for 5e is fun. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because the last time I DM'd it was actually Tomb of Annihilation. Maybe at some point we'll pick that back up. We did about 10 sessions, and then I find it very stressful. I find playing stressful. I find DMing even more stressful. I just want to do a good job, Mama Bear Dragon says, you just got points with P-Bear. He says, try Loop Hero. I'm not really a gamer. I only play Bingo and Animation Throwdown. Yeah, I've thought about playing Loop Hero. I don't know. It's just that I've been waiting for a new expansion for Binding of Isaac for a while, so. Okay, so, you know what? I don't know how much... we got a couple minutes, but, just in case, and for reasons that I won't go into that you should probably already know, on Fridays, we need to get into the show a little bit earlier, so I'm going to do this one last story. And thank you. I apologize that I forget the name of the individual that sent this to me. I believe it was in an Instagram DM. But so basically, earlier this week, Donald Trump was on Newsmax, and they were talking about a number of different things, conspiracy theories that the right has been up to lately, still having to do with the election and all that. So there was a lot about him having actually won the election, everything. They just say that casually, and the Newsmax hosts, of course, aren't going to challenge it at all. So just bear in mind that as you go about your life, you are going to be coming across tons of people that believe that you are an absolute dupe because you think that President Biden is President Biden. So just, have fun with that. That said, another bit of recent news came up, and that had to do with the Georgia voting bill, which he believes didn't go far enough. He says, too bad the desperately needed election reforms in Georgia didn't go further, as the originally approved bill did, but the governor and lieutenant governor would not go for it. The bill should have been passed before the 2020 presidential election, not after. Boycott all the woke companies that don't want voter ID and free and fair elections. Love to have someone trying to stop people from voting, talking about how they're the ones for free and fair elections, and woke companies. I would pay a significant amount of money to have the right no longer use the term woke. It's just the worst when they use it. I don't like it when most people use it. Certainly don't like it when they use it. Anyway, and he wishes that it had been passed before. Yeah, I get that you wish that that bill had been passed before. I got news for you. You still would have lost the election. Even if you had been successful in weeding out as many black voters as possible, you still would have lost. Winning Georgia wouldn't have won you in the election, jackass. But anyway, so they did get into the bill. And of course, the woke companies, and so he wants a boycott. And here's the thing. He eventually got asked by Heather Childers, should we boycott baseball because of what the MLB is doing? He says that's what the liberals do. They boycott anybody that speaks out, they cancel them, and they boycott them. If the right would boycott these companies that are so above it all, you'd find that they would come back into the fold very quickly. But wait, so here he is saying the left boycotts, and he seems to be saying that's a good thing for the left. It's a smart thing that the left is doing. We should do that. But all the right has been saying is, no, don't boycott. That's political correctness. That's cancel culture. He's saying, no, cancel culture is great. The left does it. We should do it too. But the point for this segment, though, is why? Why boycott the MLB? Well, you might think, well, because they spoke out against the bill. Yeah, sure, that's why they bring it up. But when you hear Trump actually talk about it, that doesn't seem like the main reason that he wants to boycott it, or thinks it doesn't matter if we watch baseball or not. And I would say, coming out of what I'm about to read for you, I don't think he watches baseball at all, which maybe is controversial because we know how his mind is still on fire from the fact that Dr. Fauci got to throw out that opening pitch. You might think, well, then clearly he's got to love baseball. But I don't think it has anything to do with throwing out the first pitch specifically or a love of the game. It is just a recognition. He lost it when Greta got Time Person of the Year. I don't think it's about the thing. I think it's just nobody else can beat me ever. So this is what he said. You evaluate for yourself. Look, I'm just not very interested in baseball for the last number of years. I think it's not appropriate. You want to find a game, it's on every channel, and yet you can't find anything. It's the weirdest thing. It used to be a nice, easy thing to follow. Today, you don't even know what the hell you're watching. I would say boycott baseball. Why not? I think what they did was a terrible thing. What? Okay, I'm sorry. If Joe Biden had said any 3 words of that, Fox would have done a whole day's coverage about how Grandpa Joe's fallen apart. What the fuck are you talking about? He threw on a little bit about the boycott, but mostly he said, it's not appropriate. You want to find a game, it's on every channel, and yet you can't find anything. So Is he talking about his difficulty in finding a particular team's game? Like he doesn't know how to go between the channels or something? It's the weirdest thing. It used to be nice, easy thing to follow. Today, you don't even know what the hell you're watching. I don't know what the hell I'm hearing. It's not like there's 10 times as many teams. Look, I don't watch baseball. If, I don't know, the postseason is way more complex than it used to be, okay, maybe he's got a point, but I don't think that that's the case. I think they mostly play a ton of games, and they have the postseason or whatever, and then there's some things, and then they have the World Series. Isn't that basically how it works and how it's worked for a long time? Look, I do think it's a difficult sport to follow compared to some others because they play so many games. Jesus, I think following football would be difficult. They play like 10 times as many baseball games. But that said, that's not new. What is going on with Trump when it comes to baseball? What's his beef? It's not appropriate. The next Dragon says, you should try Mage by White Wolf. You dig the freedom. Maybe. I don't know. Mage and Werewolf and all that stuff I've never been particularly interested in. I do like the idea of more freeform stuff, like Fate. Portland Pie Dragon says, hello, Dragon Daddy. Won't you please tell me what your favorite pie is? Inquiring Progressive Pie Baker wants to know. Love you from Portland. I like a lot of pies. I appreciate a good lemon meringue pie. Any kind of cream pie, though, peanut butter, banana cream pie, chocolate. I like a lot of different pies. Cherry pies. I like an apple pie. I really don't. I like them all. But thank you. Tiger says, the post of it was about Matt's buddy's lawyer saying Matt Gaetz should be worried. Also, I've been getting into Outriders, the game. I recommend it. I know. I saw that that came out. I didn't see the best reviews for it, and it seems like I've got a lot of time sinks. This board game, Kickstarter, just came through, Marvel United. It's a cooperative game where you play as Marvel heroes against the Marvel villain cooperatively. And there's a lot of characters you can play as, and each one has an awesome little chibi-style miniature. And eventually, I want to paint those, but that is going to take forever. So, I don't know. And also, I plan on finishing my novel at some point. So, yeah, hesitant to take on many more time sinks. Zane says, Hot Mic Friday, Dragon Daddy. We'll see. I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't exist, but we'll see. May Money into Building says, got our J&J yesterday at Fremont High School. Anyone in East Oakland can walk in and get the vax. My arm feels like a lead pipe. Yay. Ouch. Schwa says, the main one excited about Matt being in trouble is Cuomo. Seems like no one cares about him now. Well, Schwa, you should watch yesterday's show with Rashad Ritchie. I made that exact point. Let's see. Luck Dragon says, the first speech censured, the first thought forbidden, the first freedom denied, chains us all irrevocably. I assume that's a reference to the boycott that we're talking about there. Lil John, you don't know sports. That's okay. I mean, I know basically how it works. I have watched baseball. Como says, I think someone wants to name a pie after you. Lol, Johnny Pie is going to end up being a cherry pie, LOL. I mean, that wouldn't be my first pick, probably. Like, but a good peanut butter pie or banana cream pie. Oh, that would be so good. Mikhail's a friend who loves painting minis. I like painting minis. Okay, everybody. Well, unfortunately, I gotta go prep because I still gotta print out my picture for my garbage people and stuff like that. I gotta make sure that the show is gonna be smooth because you know that Brett loves to throw curveballs into everything. But I'm hoping to see you there, whether you stay here on YouTube or head over to twitch.tv/TYT. I will see you in just a bit. Oh my God, a fluffernutter pie sounds great.